7th.
And just heard a track there from Tommy Hill called Tommy Hill, Come Home. Time now is 13 minutes past 9 here on the Kiwi.
The Geek Show.
And joining us from the Geek Show, 2 3s rather than 2 e's.com, it's MsBehaviour this morning. Good morning, Ms. B.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you?
Very, very good. Very well indeed. Looking forward to a wee break, as are the geeks. Are you guys taking a break from the studios?
Definitely, but we're going to be doing lots of painting and gardening, getting the place ready for the big shift to Wellington next year.
Was that painting and gargling, or was that gardening? I couldn't quite catch
that.
A
bit of both, probably.
And of course, and also, what we'll be talking about today, you've been playing with a ray gun of sorts.
Yes, particularly this ray gun. Righteous. This is the Righteous Bison.
A righteous bison, which sounds like an animal of some sort.
It does, it does. This is one of the wonderful ray guns from the world of Dr. Broadbort, who we talked about a year ago, I think, first on the show.
Yeah.
When he first brought out a copy of the Contrapulatronic Dingus Directory, which is a wonderful catalogue of ray guns, these wonderful, wonderful ray guns, which started off with a series of paintings done by one of the designers at Weta, a guy called Greg Broadmoor.
Yeah.
He did a series of these ray guns as paintings, and I don't think he's even managed to put them on his wall yet. They're still propped up, on a wall somewhere, but Richard Taylor saw them, and he said, "What are those?" And basically, from the ray guns became this wonderful universe set in this era, as if the Victorian era had continued on, and all of the technology is from that era. So, kind of steampunk aesthetic, ray guns, Venusian princesses. So it started out with the artwork and the guns, and it's expanded and expanded into this full universe with a hero. And I'll quote from the interview I did with Dr. Broadbort last year, or Greg Broadmoor. As a kid, I was massively inspired and awed by the black and white serials on Sunday afternoon TV. In particular, the 1930s Flash Gordon and the many sci-fi movies of that era. This book allowed me to pay homage to that world of science fiction and create something new at the same time. And it's full of guns. Did I mention guns? Ray guns, actually the best type. So this year, so basically, they went from artworks into universe, and then some of the sculptors at Weta Workshop started making these as collectibles.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first in a new range, which are now available, in a imitation metal, which is akin to earth plastic. So they're basically a ray gun you can take out into the wilds and play with.
Right.
So the new book is called Victory, and again, I have a copy here. And it's absolutely marvellous. It's basically Victory, scientific adventure violence for young men and literate women.
What a fantastic title.
Being a literate woman myself, I've been able to read said annual. It even talks about robots, how to read the signs of robotic rebellion, which is obviously very important in this era.
Yeah.
And
that was the Tuts with a track called Odyssey. And just before we were rudely interrupted by the internet's MsBehaviour from thegeekshow.com was telling us about Dr. Broadbort's lasers and ray guns and whatnot in this brand new book. MsBehaviour's back with us. Ms. B, you were talking about the brand new annual, which has got a little bit of a 1950s flavour to it.
Oh, completely. It's absolutely saturated with that whole kind of, robots and space and, heroes and old, school adventure, what-ho. It just really reminds me of one of those books that used to give kids in the 1950s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's also got some, really good commentary. I mean, the whole point about literate women on the cover. I mean, in those days, women didn't often get a chance to go to school and be educated like the boys.
Yeah.
So it's just so rich. There's so much into it. So we were very lucky to get our hands on a righteous bison, which is one of the ray guns. So we took it for a little bit of testing out into the wilds of Waitakere, and if you walk on over to the Geek Show site, you can see some of the testing that we did.
Yes, now I'm looking at one picture. You're posed on the beach there in front of, now that's Lion Rock, isn't it?
It was Lion Rock.
Because then in the next picture I see you pointing this ray gun at Lion Rock.
We had it dialed up a little high.
and the final picture, there's a hole straight through Lion Rock.
Hey, look, it's not a bug, it's a feature, okay?
That's going to disappoint a few people who, came to expect Lion Rock to look a certain way this summer.
Yes, they're going to have to reshoot the whole Xena intro now as well, aren't they? But talking about bugs, that's the next thing that's coming out in the collectibles. I think this is wonderful because they're getting all of the sculptors and the artists who are world-class, at Weta Workshop, to start designing these collectibles from the universe. So the next thing I've spotted they're bringing out is a series of fantastical insectoids from the universe of Dr. Groardbort. And I remember when I talked to him last year, the depth of detail in this universe is incredible, right down to the bestiary of the cosmos and all of the animals that Lord Coxswain goes hunting with his ray guns and killing everything in sight. So basically the very first of these is coming out. It's called the blue-sacked pillock. And it's an entomologically preserved specimen collected on the Venusian steppes and in a frame. And I just think that's wonderful. And if you want to have some fun this Christmas, then you can go along to the Weta website.
Yep.
Go to blastbuffoon.com.
Yes.
And you can upload a photo of a buffoon, which could be your friend, your mate, your mum and dad.
No, I can think of one in particular, but yes.
Yep, I think everyone can think of a buffoon they'd like to blast away this time of year.
Yeah.
So you go along, you upload a picture of a buffoon, you wield a weapon of your choice, and you blast away. And as he says, blast a buffoon, charbroil a chum, or fry your friends at blastbuffoon.com. So happy holidays to everybody at Weta and Greg Bubble and Dr. Groardbort, and just keep these amazing things coming because they are so much fun.
And there people obviously will also have a lot of downtime in this holiday season. And is it worth pointing out that, as far as I understand, so who's the Greg? Greg is behind.
That's it. Greg Broadmoor is the amazingly talented artist behind this universe. He also has done a lot of the work in Narnia. He did the dinosaurs in King Kong. So,
and this project originally came out of his downtime, didn't it?
This came out of him painting a series of ray guns, and Richard Taylor just happening to see the paintings, asking what they were, really loved the look and the aesthetic. And that's where the idea came from, that this is what they can be doing with the Weta Workshop artists and artisans in between all of the movie making they're making, is they're creating these marvellous props from this, imaginative universe. And who knows? I mean, I'd love to see more from the universe of Dr. Groardbort. I absolutely adore it. So one of the first things I'm doing when I go down to Wellington is I'm going to go to the Weta Cave, and I want to get my hands on more of these.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, happy holidays, and I'll see you in the new year.
Will do. See ya.
Cheers.
MsBehaviour there over at thegeekshow.com, and as I say, you'll be able to find those images and also more on Dr. Groardbort over at thegeekshow.com.